Never meet your heroes. At least that's what they say. So I'm going to take you on a journey and tell you about my experience when I met my childhood hero, Richard Hammond. I've watched Top Gear since I was in primary school, which means I've seen every single Richard Hammond era Top Gear episode. I've seen every single Grand Tour episode. I've seen all of Richard Hammond's garage. I've seen all of his solo projects such as Engineering Connections, The Great Escapists, and so on and so forth. In fact, I'd be very surprised if there was anything Richard Hammond has done on video that I haven't seen. So I can honestly say I have grown up following Richard Hammond my entire life, and he is genuinely one of my childhood heroes. I could probably recite every single word he's ever said from anything he's ever done on video. And I've always liked him. I think he's lovable, he's a funny guy, he's got charisma, he's unique, and I've always enjoyed watching him, and I continue to enjoy watching him. So I was naturally a little bit nervous when I discovered that I was going to be working for him through Drivetribe. It's one thing meeting your heroes. It's a totally different thing when your hero is going to be essentially your boss. And this was going to be the case. Now, in my mind, when you meet a celebrity or someone famous or someone you admire as a stranger, generally, they're probably going to be relatively polite. Not always, but usually relatively polite as you're a fan. But when you're working for someone, it's different because they're paying you. So they have no obligation to be polite. They have no reason to be particularly nice to you. You've got a job to do. So I was a little bit conflicted as to how I feel about this opportunity. Is he going to be a dick of a boss, or is he going to be great? Is he going to be everything I imagine him to be? Or is he going to be completely different? Who knows? I'll never forget the first day I met Richard, which was at the Smallest Cog, actually. And he came waltzing in. He introduced himself, shook my hand and said, you must be Maxwell. I'm Richard, just in case I didn't know who he was, of course. And we had a little chat about his Subaru Martin because Mike Fernie had kind of unofficially stolen it for the week. And he was admiring the car that I was driving at the time, which subsequently became his car. When you meet someone who you admire or a celebrity, your first interaction is gonna stay with you forever. That's how you're gonna view that person till the end of time. If it's a negative one, you're probably never going to look at that person the same way again. If it's a positive one, it's going to be the opposite. You're going to probably love that person. And I can happily say that my first interaction with Richard was great. He's a really nice person, made me feel really comfortable. I was a little bit nervous, which is rare for me because I don't really get nervous meeting people. I'm quite easygoing. But knowing who Richard is and how long I've known him for, etc., on TV, it did make me slightly nervous. And also it was more high stakes for me because, as I say, I have to impress this man. Richard Hammond is genuinely a very, very nice guy. He's very much the same guy you see on TV, maybe a little bit more quiet, but he is the same person. His humor's the same, his cadence is the same, his energy is there. He's Richard Hammond in person and on screen, which is pretty impressive because most of the time when you meet hosts, they're not the same as they are in person. So to find that Richard is the same guy I've been watching the whole time kind of humbled me and made me feel like I know him even more. It kind of surprised me because I realized that watching Top Gear and the Grand Tour, and we sit here and we think everything's all scripted, after meeting Richard Hammond, I realized that that's his actual humor. He's like that. He's that fast, he's that witty, and the jokes he makes and the humor he has on screen is literally the same humor he has in person, which made me realize that I think a lot of the gags and a lot of the humor in Top Gear and the Grand Tour was probably unscripted because it didn't need to be. Which brings me on to the next thing I'd like to talk about, which is when Richard Hammond records for video, he's literally like the Jay-Z of presenters. There is no script, there is no practice, it's one take. You give him a brief idea of what you'd like him to talk about, put on the camera, and bam, it's Richard Hammond. He lays it down, he lays down the bars flawlessly. It's actually fascinating. It is like watching the telly. I've never seen anything like it, and obviously he's got decades and decades and decades of experience, but it still requires some serious talent to just be able to be that natural, that quick, and that thorough off the cuff like that. It's amazing. My interaction with Richard Hammond overall was fantastic. Now, I would like to set the record straight. Richard isn't the reason me and Drivetribe parted ways. It was down to other slightly more complicated things. However, I have no bad feelings against Richard. I think he's a fantastic guy. Hopefully at some point in the future we will cross paths, who knows? But I really am grateful for the time and the experience I did have with him and the opportunity I had. So what's next for me? Well, I'm at a bit of a crossroads at the moment. My YouTube channel has been a difficult project. It's been really hard to stay motivated. It's been really hard to keep my energy high. I'm doing everything absolutely on my own, which is always difficult because I haven't got other people to ask, you know, is this okay? Am I doing this right? Do you have any ideas? I've got no one else to lean on or bounce off. I really have to make my own lane and carry my own energy, which is quite exhausting. I'm editing everything myself. I'm filming everything myself. I'm refining, putting everything on YouTube, doing all the social media stuff all by myself, you know, and it's hard work. I think people don't really appreciate how much work it really is to run a YouTube channel. It's exhausting and it is absolutely full time. And, you know, massive shout out to those guys like Alex, massive shout out to Luke on Cars, massive shout out to, you know, Matt Armstrong, all these guys that are really doing it. You know, I know now how much work they're putting in to get it done, and it's intense. And I really want people to understand how difficult it can be. I'm really hoping to do some more collaboration work. So I want to be working with people like also Alex. We've been on the fence with that. We're just trying to get a date in. It's difficult. Alex is an extremely busy guy, as you can imagine. So trying to lock that in has been difficult. I also want to do some stuff with Taylor Hetherington, do some stuff with Luke, Luke on Cars. So, you know, there's a lot of stuff coming up. It's the season, 'tis the season now. I'm going to a lot of shows and events. So if there's any big YouTuber event, the chances are I'm gonna be there. So feel free to come, feel free to say hello and have a chat with me. I love chatting to everyone. I think you're all great. You all inspire me, and keep tuned, keep posted. I'm still here, I'm still grinding, I'm still grafting, I'm still happy. So let's get on with it. Thank you for watching this episode. And I hope you guys learned a little something today.